I'm Edwin.
And I'm Jocelyn, and this is
The Long Overdue, a show about libraries.
And each episode will feature a special guest and a short conversation,
focusing on the Sul Ross Library and beyond. Today's guest is Victoria Contreras, our hot-off-the-presses archivist of the Big Bend. She joined Sul Ross in May and has hit the ground running in getting our archives usable and researchable. Plus, she has brought in such a fun and positive attitude in making our archives representative of all people and the vast and complex history of our region. She is originally from El Paso and earned her master's in information management and preservation from the University of Glasgow in Scotland.
Victoria,
Awesome.
welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here.
How long were you in Scotland?
A little over about 2 years.
Cool. I was just curious. I hadn't had a chance to ask you that before.
Did you have like a little bit of a culture shock going to and coming from?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which one was more intense, like getting over there and suddenly experiencing humidity for the first time, like really for the first time in my life, or moving back and then losing all humidity.
Oh, yeah, because you were El Paso, Scotland, and then back to Alpine-ish.
At that time, yeah.
Crazy. So, yeah. To me, it was a shock coming from North Texas to here and how dry it is here compared to there. So I can't imagine. You must have been, like, melting.
No, thankfully it was the fall, so it was cold, and I loved it.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. That's cool.
Yeah. Now we'll get to our topical questions.
Yes.
So since you're an archivist, anytime we say library, feel free to replace it with archives. To me, they're interchangeable. I don't know if I know that's not the way that you feel as an archivist. I know they're separate, but so many normies, people not in the profession, view them in the same way. So I think that's kind of how we'll frame our conversation today, if that sounds okay to you.
Yeah, it's fine. Cool. And honestly, I kind of see them as like converging circles.
Yeah.
So in my head, they often go hand in hand. Or
absolutely.
Things that affect one always affect the other. At least
cool.
in my experience.
We're on the same page there.
Nice.
Love it. Do you want to get us started?
Yeah, sure. So what do library/archives mean to you?
It sounds cliche, but I have to say everything. And I don't mean this, at least not entirely in like the mushy sentimental way. I mean it in, it's whatever you need it to be at the time. Like, I look back at my life and I know I've used libraries as a refuge, as an inspiration point, as a meeting point, as pretty much anything I ever needed. I could always find there, wherever I was living. And it's kind of the same way with archives. Just a little bit further back, a little bit more removed.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I can't think of a moment in my life in which I wasn't in a library for some reason or another.
Hell yeah, I love
true.
that.
That's one heck of a way to put it. Yeah, I like that a lot, honestly.
I don't know that I've ever thought about that, but seriously, like growing up, you use the public library and you use your school library, and it's so many things to so many people. But for us as people who love the library, like I'm sure it was a place where we first discovered literacy, discovered our love of books, but discovered our love of being somewhere and not having to spend money to be there. Like, yeah, then when you go to college, you're always using your college library, and then now we're working in libraries. So literally every aspect of our lives has been impacted by libraries.
Yeah, and being able to do a bunch of things that you wouldn't assume you can do in a library.
Right.
Like, even back in the 90s, there were constantly events and activities to do that sometimes had nothing to do with books.
Oh, yeah.
And it was still a blast being able to do that there for free.
Yeah.
With members of a community.
Yeah. Like, I remember summer reading, like, the lizard guys, not lizard people, people that had lizards and snakes and stuff. Do y'all remember this?
Herpetologists.
Herpetologists, yes, thank you.
I was like, what?
When the lizard people would come visit me, you know what it is? That didn't happen to you? No.
It's like everyone starts rolling away from the table.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she's not all right.
We're officially sponsored by the
No.
Lizard People.
This went Doctor Who really quick.
Yep.
Okay, okay, but when the herpetologist would come during summer reading, and like that had nothing to do with literacy or reading. I mean, it had to do with learning, which is of course involved in libraries, but like, yeah, exactly what you're saying. There's so many things that libraries do that are not necessarily focused on books.
Oh, and I'm wrong. It could also have been a herpiculturalist.
Now, what's the difference? What's the difference?
Herpetologist is someone who actually like studies herps, so
Okay.
Reptiles and amphibians, more academically.
Okay.
And herpiculturalists are those who just love having herps or
think
love
they were
dealing with
culturalists.
herps and raising herps.
Yeah, because they were the kind of people that had lizards and snakes and stuff, and then would just do like outreach essentially.
Oh, cool.
I don't know that they were studying them. I think they just liked them and liked showing them off.
And again, it's one of those Venn diagrams that they could easily have been both.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
The character that they were playing for sure was like lizard lover. I shouldn't say that. Anyway.
I'm just trying to imagine it, and there's so many different images going on.
Yeah.
So we are sponsored by the lizard people.
Okay, so knowing that libraries have and archives have impacted every step of every part of your life growing up unto now, what does our library mean to you in that context?
It's a new chapter.
Yeah, love that.
Actually, I hadn't thought of that. It's kind of an opportunity to have a new version of myself.
Yeah.
It's not only just where I happen to work, but it's the collections that I get to spend every moment of my day with, the people I get to interact with every day, and the connections that I make not just within the university, but within the community and within the region as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I grew up in West Texas, and there's so much stuff that, despite being a history lover and despite being a literature lover, I had no idea about.
Right.
And that's what the library and the archives of the Big Bend have so far most contributed.
I love that.
It's definitely very huge, like historical site. Like a lot of people really come to the archives just based on the amount of history that we have like in there. So I think that's a lot to look into, even if you're someone who likes this stuff a lot. Like, it's a lot to sift through. Like, oh my God, there's so much. I'm never going to run out of the information I can find here.
It's literally like the physical representation of Wikipedia diving. When you just like click on like that link, and just like
keep going.
5 hours later,
Yes.
you're like, oh, I forgot to eat, sleep, everything else. It's like, but I found all of this out.
Yeah. Kayla, who will be a guest in the next coming weeks, is doing her thesis, and she's getting her master's in history. And I think you guys have worked together to help her find some stuff in the archives that's been helpful for her on her project. And there was this one like pamphlet or booklet that she found. Did she show you this? That was like reasons for something, and then you open the pamphlet and it's just blank pages, like it was anti whatever the ideal was.
Awesome.
And it was just blank pages, and I think she found that in the archives.
Nice.
I couldn't stop laughing.
I
was
have
like,
not bumped
"That's
into
so
that one
clever."
yet.
I'll have to get the title and
That's
have her
awesome.
show it to you, because oh my God,
You
so funny.
bump into some crazy stuff.
Yes.
And some stuff that you're like, I get that this was normal for the time, but it is hilarious from like this perspective. And I was like, okay.
I love looking at historical ads, seeing what used to be sold, and like the persuasive devices that were used to get people to buy it. Like Lysol is a good example. Lysol, do you know about this? That Lysol used to be marketed as like a feminine wash cleanser.
No, I didn't.
Bitch, that's bleach.
No,
Yeah.
what? No way.
Yeah. Lysol canceled.
Um,
And you can see like old ads that are like, does your husband not love you anymore? Like, essentially that's what it's saying. It's like, buy Lysol. Like, I'm exaggerating, but only like a little bit. Like, they are some dark-sided ads.
I love knowing that, because like someone who doesn't know that can like look at the old ads. It's like, oh, I guess like they're insinuating that the husband will leave them if they don't clean enough, Or but it's like, nope, had nothing to do
No,
with
and
that.
it's like got like legs in the ad. Like, you know how they want you to use it.
Oh no.
What is it? I've been looking through the microfilms you had asked me to look through for the professor, and a lot of the ads there are like cigarette ads.
Yeah.
But specifically, what they always say is, cigarettes don't get on your nerves. And there's always the guy, and there's like a woman in the back. And I'm like, dude, what?
Wait, is that saying that you need to smoke so your wife doesn't annoy you?
I don't know, but I'm just like, dude, what?
Don't get married, just smoke. Jeez.
It's like,
I
every
love the ones that are like, for your health. Like, before we knew cigarettes were literally deadly. Like, those are always funny.
I also think of the old Battleship board game box.
Why?
Because it's the dad and the son playing Battleship, and they didn't need to do this, but in the back you see the mom and the daughter washing the dishes.
No.
And I'm like, wow, that would not lie at all today.
Milton Bradley also canceled.
I'm gonna be extra intense next time I play Warship. Like, just in
I'm gonna make my
spite.
husband do the dishes while I'm playing.
You're gonna pose
Battleship
for
with my
that
cats.
picture.
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh jeez.
You're right. They did not need to do that. Why did they do that?
I don't know, but those are ads. Those are historical ads.
Yeah, clearly the son and father needed a sandwich either before or after their game.
That's so embarrassing on so many levels. I hate it. Okay.
You know, like seeing those old time ads, I'm like, wow, we've definitely come a long way from a lot of that. Hopefully, jeez.
But have we? Like, if
Question.
okay,
Yeah.
we
On our
stream
next topic.
a lot of our TV, but we recently my brother got for us YouTube TV,
Okay.
and there's ads on YouTube TV.
Yes, there are.
Disgusting. I never see ads anymore, and so now it started like the ads play, and I'm like, what is this? And like, even though there's not like that overt sexism, it's still kind of there.
It's still like now they know to hide it.
Yeah,
a little bit
exactly.
more, but it's like, dude.
It's
can
still the
see
same
it.
idea, yeah. Like, there's this Pledge commercial that I saw, and it's like, it's a woman cleaning. I'm like, come on, can we be creative, please? Make a robot clean. Like, I don't know. I don't think we've. Sure, we've progressed a little bit. The women are not in the background of Battleship anymore. However, I think we can still improve.
Definitely.
I just want to attach a Pledge bottle to my Roomba. Like, just
Oh yeah, they make those Roombas that do like they mop. Also,
Yeah.
I need one so bad.
Yeah.
There's Roombas that mop now.
Yeah, baby.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Oh yeah. I've never
I think they're
cleaned
like
again.
$400, $500.
Oh yeah, no, Roombas are expensive.
It's like
Santa,
even the
I've been
regular
so
ones are
good
like
this
$300.
year. Woo. Okay.
Oh jeez.
What question are we on? I think we're on that one.
That was what our libraries mean.
Oh god.
All right,
Great.
so
Yeah, sentient Roombas. That's what
sentient
it
Roombas,
is.
yeah.
Now
So-
that I'm thinking about it, we could totally get a Roomba for our makerspace and like students could check it out to use it.
Oh.
What do you think? We'll talk about it.
I like the idea, but I'm just imagining all the things that can go terribly wrong.
Oh yeah, the idea is fantastic. The delivery, we'll see.
All I can think of is that episode in Parks and Rec where
DJ Roomba.
DJ Roomba, yeah, they attach an iPod to the top of the Roomba.
Or I've seen Roombas will like run over like if you have pets, you know, a throw up or a doo doo that a pet does, and the Roomba will run over it. And have you seen this? And it just sprays it
just-
all over
Ruins the whole house.
the whole. Yeah, you're selling your house.
Yeah.
You're buying a new one.
You're not even selling it, you're burning it.
You're burning it. It's
no one's
done.
buying that.
No. Oh my god. Okay.
Even in this market, no one's buying
No.
Okay, so what's your personal history with the libraries / archives?
For me, I started pretty young. My mom was very much, she didn't get to have a very lengthy education. She ended up having to leave school when she was in middle school to work and provide for the family. She ended up going back and like got her associates and everything. She's awesome. But she instilled in me when I was really, really young that learning was everything and reading was everything. And even before we started going to libraries, we would always buy like children's books in both English and Spanish and have them at home. But I was still like definitely in elementary school, but I can't remember what age we started going to the downtown El Paso Public Library constantly.
Nice.
Like I would spend forever, pick out books, and then buy get a whole stack, and it's like, you don't need to come get that many. We're coming back. And I was like, but I'll run out. And sure enough, I'd run out and I'd have to come back.
I love that.
That's awesome.
I'm terrible about I generally don't like rereading books, even when I was younger. So that didn't help.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever reread. That's not true. I have reread a Meg Cabot book. That not like the Princess Diaries ones. Did you ever read any of Meg Cabot's books? Did you ever read any of Meg Cabot's books? There's this one like just a duology, I guess you would say. Just 2 books in this series. American Girl. Dang, those books were good. And I read them when I was like in my like goth emo phase, and like the main character is in her like goth emo phase, but then there's like this really like goth emo guy who's like, it's like a very sweet love story, but it's like in Washington D.C. so there's like politics and stuff. It's such an interesting story.
Nice.
Yeah.
That does
I
sound
reread
good.
that book whenever I needed some comfort, and it worked. But yeah, I don't
I can
really
see
reread books. Gotta be new. Gotta be fresh.
No, I don't think I've ever reread a book either. I think it's because like I just already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it makes it less enjoyable next time around, for sure.
I'm the same way with movies and shows, much to my partner's chagrin. Like, he loves rewatching everything, and I can't stand it.
I'm very specific with the shows or movies that I want to rewatch.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like a drama or something, I'm not gonna rewatch it because
you already know how it ends.
Yeah, but if it's like comedy or so, anime, so that like, I'll rewatch them. Like,
absolutely
easy.
Yeah. What does Thor like to rewatch?
Oh, Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
That's the main one. Like,
What a good one.
He's gonna kill me. Pitch Perfect.
No way.
Really?
He finally listened to me at one point and watched it for the first time, and he got addicted.
What does he like about it? The music?
I'm assuming so, because he has a musical background too.
Okay, cool.
But
That's funny.
It's honestly kind of funny.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it is really relevant for like how college was when we were there.
Oh yeah, okay.
So,
I love that. That's kind of hilarious.
yeah,
Wow.
he's
Have you seen that movie?
Gonna strangle me.
Yes, actually, I saw them recently.
Okay.
By recently, I mean last year, but that's because Al found out that I hadn't seen it.
Does Al love it?
Well, they like Al, Katie, and all of them. They enjoy those movies, and then like I told him, I've never seen like Pitch Perfect because it never really caught my attention.
Yeah.
And then just one day he's like, "Yo, I got it from Redbox. You're gonna watch it." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm watching this movie."
Yeah, no, the first 2 are awesome.
Yeah, and then when I asked him about the third one, he's like, "We don't talk about the third one." I was like, "Oh, damn."
I didn't even like the first one, I'll be honest.
Really?
Yeah, maybe I should give it another chance, but it just, I don't know, wasn't for me.
Like I like the movie, but it's not like a movie I would rewatch. Like, like, oh yeah, I gotta watch it again. Let's go.
It's one of those comfort things. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
We watch Bob's Burgers a lot and The Simpsons a lot as our like comfort shows. Parks and Rec too. It makes its way into the repertoire pretty often. We were Ron Swanson and Tammy too for Halloween one year,
Oh
and it
my
was
gosh.
awesome. I'll just show you the picture. It was hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Awesome.
fun.
I finally got him watching Modern Family,
Oh yeah,
and I'm really hoping that kind of sneaks its way into the repertoire, because that's one of those shows that I don't mind like passively rewatching over and
Love
over
it.
again. It's like, okay.
the humor in that show is so dry and interesting. I like that show. It's very entertaining. Okay, let's get back on track.
Oh, sorry.
Your turn.
Oh, this question was for our OIT people. How do you think libraries and systems relate to one another? We don't want to talk about that. Okay, coolest library you visited / coolest archives you've gotten to visit.
Coolest archives is coolest library I know, but it's kind of complicated. I've been there twice, but I've never gotten to go inside.
Dang, okay.
The Trinity College in Dublin.
Okay.
Their library is absolutely amazing.
Really?
Stunning. Like,
Cool.
all those memes you see on social media about libraries or like posts about libraries, like 75% of them have a picture of that library.
Nice.
And they have an illuminated manuscript there that it's like on my what's it called, bucket list to see at some point. And somehow both times that I've been there, it's been closed. Apparently one day it was just normal, they don't open that day, and I didn't know. Next day I planned my trip around going there, and it was closed for construction, and nobody said anything. So I was like,
that's so sad.
well, like, you can't be sad in Dublin, but it's really hard to be sad in Dublin.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
So like I
Just have a pint or something too. Is that how they say?
I made myself very, like, forget it quickly.
Oh.
And,
Good. What is the manuscript that they have?
The Book of Kells.
Wait, that sounds familiar.
It's an illuminated manuscript, I want to say, from the 8th or 9th century.
Dang.
And has, like, the 4 Gospels and a bit more. I don't remember what else it has. And there's a lot of controversy about it, but, like, it was supposedly written in the Isle of Iona.
Oh, okay.
And started, I don't remember if it was started by St. Columba or just, like, the St. Columba monks or whatever were the ones kind of doing it from then on. Yeah, the history's kind of fuzzy.
Muddy, yeah.
Got moved around a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And there were Vikings, and there's a bunch of stuff. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
That's awesome. I love illuminated manuscripts. So many of them are like Christian or religious, but they're still so beautiful. Okay.
There's even a cute little cartoon about it. I think it's called The Secret of Kells.
Okay.
And it's visually stunning, and the music is amazing. But it's an Irish cartoon from,
Can you spell
10 years ago.
Kells?
Kells is Kells, I believe.
Okay, cool.
I'm not a very good speller, despite being an English major.
That's fine. I'm sure Google will know what we mean.
And then, in terms of most interesting archive, probably, I know the one that made the most impact to me would be the Harry Ransom Center in UT.
Cool.
So that's the first place I kind of think of when I think of an amazing archive. I know
it.
I've been to other ones, but that's what I can.
Is that related to the LBJ archives too, or is that what's the Harry Ransom Center part of? It's part of UT. I think I get those two confused because I've been to the LBJ Library and Archives, but I don't know if I've been to the Harry Ransom Center. Yeah,
they're separate ones, I think, because the LBJ one is part of, like, his museum and his library, which is, I don't know if it's housed in the same area, but they're separate institutions.
Okay, cool.
The HRC is its own building on campus.
Oh, I don't know that. I don't think I've been there then. That's cool though.
It's amazing, and they have rotating exhibits on the first floor.
Cool.
That you don't have to register ahead of time or sign up as a researcher to see.
Nice.
And it's always interesting.
I love that. They have some. What are some of the things that they have there? Some of the special things that they have. I
went there oddly enough because I was doing research on Virginia Woolf.
Okay.
And ended up doing a deep dive on their collections of her prior collections. And ended up finding some stuff in there that nobody knew existed, which was pretty cool.
There's some Salinger manuscripts there, right?
There's everything.
Okay, I think that's maybe why what I'm remembering.
And then even one collection, one of my favorite collections here, has another, like, equivalent collection at the HRC that I want to now go visit.
Yeah, of course. Count it as PD.
Heck yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Write it down.
Yeah, now I'm like, why did because I think I was planning a visit to the Harry Ransom Center at some point.
I always recommend it. It's my favorite thing to do in Austin.
I think it was having to do with some Salinger manuscripts, but I don't know. I have a new research project
There you
figuring
go.
out why I was doing that research.
Actually, I might be completely wrong.
Okay.
But I know they were bidding for the Frida Kahlo collection.
Okay.
I want to say they actually won and
Sweet.
got it.
Oh, cool.
But I might be wrong on that.
Okay.
Because it ended up being a whole debate in my grad school program about
Yeah.
should her collection go to UT or not. And
Wow.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. She was such a lover of Mexico and such a person that believed in Mexican liberation, and to me it seems like her stuff should stay near her home, but I don't know.
it and then you get into the whole like museum repatriation debate,
Yeah.
and it's always interesting.
Always interesting. Very true. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Okay, so our next question. If you had the unlimited resources, unlimited funding, what would your dream library look like?
I always kind of imagine it as more of a reading room.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that comes to mind is the British Museum
Yes.
reading
Yeah.
room that's like smack dab in the middle and has
Oh,
like
yeah.
a glass ceiling, perfectly round, and like it has tables towards the middle, like bench tables, and like those little lamps that like go like, or at least back when I saw it, it had the little green lamps, and then all the books around the edges, and it was just amazing. Like I remember walking in there and like tearing up a little bit, which was kind of
Oh, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I embraced the nerdy.
Yeah.
in case you
Do
guys
it.
didn't
That's
You
wonderful.
gotta-
Yes.
But and then my grad school had a reading room that was similar kind of in structure, but it didn't have the ceiling, so it always felt a little too cramped.
Okay.
It's like it needs the big ceiling.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've been to the British Museum and I had a wonderful
Nice.
time there. It was so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Next question is the hardest question.
Oh.
Favorite book
Oh, that's
slash I know. Slash what are you reading now? It
Okay.
doesn't have to be because librarians cannot pick a favorite book. So
I can look back and think of books that at the time I thought like, oh, this is my favorite book.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say around high school, it was like Dr. Zhivago was like my
Sure.
favorite book. Later on, Good Omens is fantastic.
oh yeah, with by
Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman.
yes, I was like Neil something.
Yeah, like that's actually one of the few books that I can reread and enjoy every minute of it. Actually, just recently, well, not that recently, a few years ago, reread it.
Cool.
Currently, I'm reading The Hacienda.
Okay.
I think it was just released last month or the month before. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very like Mexican Gothic vibes.
Love it. Okay, cool. I haven't heard of that book.
Me neither, actually.
Cool.
That sounds interesting for sure.
Honestly, like I don't really have time to like look up books anymore.
Yeah.
So I ended up just enjoying Book of the Month and have become like an addict.
Oh, I kind of like
And
that.
they just pretty much tell me it's like, hey, you should be reading this.
Oh,
okay, thank you.
I like that. Not having to think about it, because I have so many books on my to read list that I'm like, where do I start? So if somebody was just like, read this one, that would make my life a little easier, I think.
Yeah, luckily my Japanese literature class is giving me books to read.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
those have been interesting
Cool.
to tackle for sure.
And they always say that it's two separate hobbies, like buying books and
Mhm.
actually reading
Yeah.
the books.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
it's
Not
collecting
related at all.
versus learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the best books I've read were library books that I didn't even buy myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of the books that I have are like books that I loved reading, but I didn't own it. So I was like, okay, I need to have that so I can like have it on my shelf. Have I ever picked it up since buying it? No.
No.
But it's on my shelf. It's right there in case I need it.
And I have the bad habit of like buying a book and then realizing that it's available through Libby, through a public
Oh,
library.
yeah.
And then I end up like, reading most of it through the Libby despite
Yeah.
owning it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I carry my e-reader most places with me, or Libby does audiobooks too.
Mhm.
And that, I mean, it's so nice when a book is read to you.
Mhm.
You don't have to, there's not a whole lot of effort. and it's always in your pocket. It's nice.
And more than anything, like I constantly feel like I have to be doing something.
Sure.
So being able to be working on something while also reading, it's just fantastic.
Oh yeah, I love doing chores or exercising while listening to an audiobook. It's nice.
Funny enough, I actually read a tidbit about that. The reason why we feel more comfortable with doing that now, unlike how we used to back then, is because now we've been pushed towards, oh, you're not being productive. Like back then, you could read a book and it was considered productive.
Yeah.
And it still is, because obviously it's an exercise of the mind. You know, you're feeding not just your imagination, but your knowledge. But nowadays we're in like this era where you have to be doing something. You have to be active, and reading a book is seen as something passive. So it's like Victoria says, like, oh, I feel like I have to actively be doing something, and it's like, you don't realize that you are actively doing something. It feels so passive. It's always pushed that it's too passive, and it's like, that's why there's more push towards, oh, just listen to audiobooks so you can continue being active and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's...
Oh, wait, so maybe audiobooks are like capitalism.
Yeah, it's like
being pervasive.
I haven't thought of the negative of audiobooks until now.
You're conforming to capitalism.
Damn, that little Libby icon now is going to be an enemy.
You're going to look at it every time.
I know, God.
Sorry to burst your bubble, guys. It's just something I came across.
Thanks for ruining audiobooks.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. No, it's fine.
And then, like, in my mind, it kind of makes me wonder if it's kind of part of an issue dealing with, like, the devaluing of education and knowledge in general. Because, like, I remember when I was a kid, like, reading was, like, the activity, to the point where you had to do it according to your teachers, your parents, etc. If you didn't like doing it, you had to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then I remember my parents used to get mad because, like, whenever I'd do something terrible, they couldn't really punish me because literally all I wanted to do was read. So they
couldn't really ground
what are we
you?
gonna do? Tell you to not read? We can't do that. So yeah, it kind of makes me wonder if that's still being done.
Well, I will say that whenever I was teaching, I taught 4th grade. Big year for learning, big year for becoming independent, big year for realizing your own identity. We did not assign homework. The only work that we wanted them to do at home was reading 20 minutes a day.
Nice.
There were kids that would never do it because they didn't see the value in it. And then on the other side of the spectrum were kids that would do it and would want more. Their parents would be like, okay, they're reading, but, like, what's their actual homework? And we had to be like, that's their homework. That's it. That's... Have them read. They can read literally anything. They can read a comic book. They can read something below their level. But if they're reading, that's their homework.
Yeah.
And parents would be like, but they need to be busy at home. They need to be productive and learning. I'm like, they're learning.
Oh, yeah.
8 hours a day.
They need to be kids at home.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's when you're establishing your whole vocabulary, your identity through your perspective of the outside world.
Yeah.
If you're not being exposed to the outside world, then
Yeah, exactly. There's only so much that you can do in the school day, but I don't think that drills or written practice or anything like that is going to improve not improve your personality, but develop you as a person, like reading, even just for a few minutes a day.
Yeah.
Will. So there's a little bit less emphasis, but I mean, it kind of goes back to, like, what you're saying, where it's seen as passive. That's so sad.
Yeah.
That I'm just not realizing it. Dang.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I first saw it too. I was like, what? Oh yeah, geez, that's right. God.
All right. You got the next question.
Do I have the next question?
I
I
think
do.
so.
Okay. So you actually mentioned this, but what is something notable in our collection that stood out to you?
It can be the library collection or in the archives.
No, and I'm just trying to remember the name because for some
Okay.
reason I always switched his name with somebody else, and I'll just go back to that. But recently I found a scrapbook that it's now one of my favorite items that I found so far. And it's actually a scrapbook that I think she attended Sul Ross for like a semester. But like she'd scrapbooked her experience at Sul Ross and a bunch of road trips, and it's like a scrapbook from the 1940s.
That's
and it's
cute.
absolutely fantastic.
Oh my god.
And like there's little annotations that are just adorable and hilarious, and photographs are surprisingly really good. Considering she was literally like just up in the mountains or like over in Chihuahua visiting, and it's really cool. And then just yesterday I found a picture of the Alpine buck, like when they actually use live animals as their mascots.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And yeah, Sul Ross used to have a wolf too. Well, I'm pretty sure it was just a really big husky, but
I still don't know how I feel
I don't
about
want to
that.
say, I don't want to like burst any bubbles. Let's just say it was a wolf. But yeah, like it was just a beautiful deer with like a kind of cape on him that said like Alpine Bucks. His name was Thunder, apparently. Yeah,
awesome.
He was beautiful. But he had this expression of, "This is my life."
Oh.
And that was like, I was like, this is the most amazing photo I've seen.
What an
in a long
attitude,
time.
yeah. The Baylor has or had,
The bears.
yeah. And when you would see them, it was like they were so sad.
Well, their enclosure was, I don't know if
It
it's
was
been
like
updated, but it was pretty
Their
small back
body
then.
and then their enclosure. It was like they barely had space to like turn around. Like I can't imagine them being very fulfilled.
And if I remember correctly, they would actually kind of like, I guess depending on their trainer, walk them through campus.
Oh.
Or like maybe I just heard that and it's not true.
I don't know.
Who
I
knows?
wouldn't be surprised if that is the truth. I know they used to bring them to football games and stuff. I'm like, that would have been so loud and troubling for those poor bears.
Still do that for UT, or at least they did back when I used to go to football games.
Dang.
Yeah, you would have the Longhorn like going through the field.
I got thoughts and feelings on Longhorns, period, because and maybe I have a limited understanding of Longhorns, but whenever I see Longhorns with horns that are literally too big for their body, I'm like, you should not, like, you are suffering. Your life is suffering because that's not natural, right? Like, they're bred to have those huge horns.
I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
Actually.
I think I have another research project on my hands.
And now I want to know if Highland cows are bred for longer hair.
Oh, I don't know. They're so cute, though.
Are those the fluffy ones?
Yes. Like they have like long hair.
Have you
So
seen
cute.
the pictures where someone like they gave the cow a bath and then they blow dried the cow and it looks
all fluffy.
poofy?
Oh, cute.
It looks like those little dogs that look like bears.
Yeah. They look like chow chows. It's great.
Oh my god. No, I haven't seen that. Okay. You gotta
I gotta show it to you. It's
please.
amazing.
I'm suddenly really glad that my undergrad's mascot was a snake, because they definitely didn't carry that around campus.
No. Oh my god.
Funny enough, when I took a communication class here, the project assigned to our group was teach the class how to do something. And so it was me and two other guys, and we're wondering like, oh, what can we teach them? What can we teach them how to play a card game, whatever. One of the guys with us works at capturing snakes and like, you know.
Nice.
So he told us straight up, why don't we teach people how to capture snakes? And I was like, how would we do that? And he's
That
like,
would definitely be unique.
he's like, I can bring 2 snakes to
Nope.
class. And I'm like, dude, no way that the professor's going to let you do that. He asked the professor, and she was like, and he had this whole sermon for it as to why he could bring it, like the snakes weren't poisonous, this and that. And I was like, there's no way. And she said yes. So when I came to class when I was arching to present, he has 2 snakes there. And keep in mind, I've never held a snake in my life. And from one second to the other, he's like, oh, here, do you want to hold the snake? And I just held up my hands, and there was a snake in my hands.
Yeah.
And one of my friends was like, have you held the snake before? And I was like, nope, this is the first time it's happening. I can't get out of it
feel
now.
cool though,
Yeah, they
right?
do.
Yeah.
They do. They feel cool.
They're
so
fun to
that was
pet.
definitely an experience on how to like
Yeah.
wrangle up a snake.
Did he have snake hooks too, or
Yeah,
was it just hand?
I think if I remember correctly, he had the gloves, He had the bag, and then he also had the snake hook.
Okay, cool.
And I was like, oh, hey.
Do you remember what kind of snakes they were?
No, I don't remember them. One of them was a little bit smaller, one was a little bit bigger. So he brought the bigger one specifically for the hook to see what the snake would do with the hook, and it actually like wrapped itself around it a little bit.
Now, why did he do this? Did he work?
Because that's his job, yeah.
Okay. Where did he work?
At that, I don't know like the company name, but he basically like if someone says, "Oh, I have a snake in my house," he goes and wrangles it up so that instead of them killing it, he can save the snake. And,
Okay.
okay,
Awesome.
go back into the wild you go, my friend. Like stuff like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So,
I support it.
yeah, so that was definitely an experience with snakes right there. So.
Well, if you ever want to hold another one, I can bring mine from home. It's like bring your pet to the work day.
Snake
It's like
time.
I'm pretty sure that's not what they had in mind.
No, absolutely not. What kind of snake do you have?
We have a corn snake.
Okay, that's the yellow one, right?
He's kind of yellowish orange.
Okay, cute.
Yeah, he's geriatric. He's like he's 24.
How long do
20.
snakes
Whoa.
live?
Corn snakes aren't supposed to live very
Okay.
about 20 years.
Okay, so he's
Whoa.
like
Or like
He's
I think
playing a game with
pushing
God.
it was like 20 years. He just keeps going, and he's
in it for the
living his
long
best
run.
life. He's
wow,
doing good.
that's great.
Yeah,
I would love to meet him.
yeah, nice.
I like snakes when they're not venomous. Poisonous? Venomous.
Venomous.
Venomous. Poison is when you touch it and you die. Venomous is when they bite you and you die.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, just a few more questions for you.
I was like, yes, that is true.
Yeah, I'm like checking the time, making sure we're gonna make it to database digs on time. So we
Sorry.
gotta wrap things up.
I live off of tangents.
Oh, same. That's what makes the show so great, I think. Okay, first of our last two questions. What do you love about Sul Ross?
Ooh, that's good. Before I go on that, I remembered the name of the collection that
Okay.
I was obsessed with when I first got here. Smithers, the Smithers collection.
Smithers.
And
Like
I
from
actually had to
Smithers.
use it a ton so far.
Smithers. Cool.
But yeah, about Sul Ross, it's a beautiful campus to
Yes.
start with. And that's considering the fact that I've only ever seen it under construction.
That's true.
It's like even before, I think Thornton had just applied for his position.
Yeah.
When we were driving to El Paso, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do a detour and like drive through Alpine and see like where we'd be if we end up here."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, "Oh, that's a beautiful campus." It's like, why is everything torn up?
Yeah.
And then like years later, it's still torn up.
Yeah.
Or like, actually no, it hasn't even been a year. Oh God, time is just kind of
A flat circle.
So relative.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the last 3 years have both been 10 years and 1 year all at once.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Well. Yeah, but it flies like those evil flying monkeys in Wizard of Oz.
I used to be terrified of those.
Oh yeah.
I
We would have to
I-
like fast forward through that part of the movie because I was like nightmares.
I actually never finished that movie.
Yeah.
Like I would only see like little clips here and there. I could never watch it all the way through until I was already like past college. Like
Yeah.
Thornton sat me down. It's like, you have to watch
He's like,
this.
it'll be okay.
Yeah. I will
coach you
hold
through
your
it.
hand if you
Aw,
need it. No, I'm joking.
That's so nice.
But yeah.
Wow.
I was actually just at the replica of the house.
No way.
Yeah,
Where
in
is that?
Kansas.
So
in
that would
liberal
that
Kansas.
would make sense. Woo. That's cool.
Yeah, it was nice. It was really pretty.
I remember watching that movie as a kid and thinking that before that movie came out, when movies were all in black and white, that literally the world was in black and white. Like, it did not occur to my tiny ass pea brain that it was just the film that was in black and white. I literally thought my grandparents grew up in a world without color.
If I remember correctly, no, funny enough that you bring that up, actually, if I remember correctly, there was a study that people actually used to dream in black and white
No
because of
way.
that. Yes.
That's really cool.
They used to dream in black and white because of what they would see on the old TVs, you know, everything was black and white, all the shows were black and white. So people actually used to dream in black and white until color TV was introduced. And then people were starting to...
I wonder what it was like before then. Like
I know,
before
like-
photographs, before black and white film. I'm assuming they dreamed in color.
It's so odd that that was presented in the study that...
That's really interesting.
Like, I was like, oh, what? That's... And funny enough, I also remember seeing a little clip of an old news station and them switching to color on air. And, like, you see
really cool.
one of the anchors is like, they told me to move over here because this is where the magic's going to happen. And you literally see it go from black and white to color. And he's looking at himself from one of the cameras and he's like, wow, would you look at that? And I was like, dude, that must have been so cool for, like, people back then. You see that, just like the pop of color all of a sudden.
And I know that, like, nowadays when photographers and filmmakers are doing black and white, it can dictate your makeup, your outfits, your hairstyles. Like, you watched WandaVision, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we love One. Did you watch WandaVision?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We knew you were one of us. And the first episode, like the I Love Lucy vibes, like did you watch the behind the scenes for that episode, like the making of?
So.
Like Vision, whenever he's like supposed to be red, like his it's green, like because that showed up better and looked more red.
What?
Yeah. For the black and white
That's cool.
episode. Yeah.
Like, I still remember when, like, everyone was transitioning to HD and how that completely changed
Filmmaking.
like what kind of clothes you kind of had to
yeah.
wear, what kind of makeup you had to wear, all of that.
Absolutely.
That was just I don't even
10
want to know.
years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't know.
We had Casey, Bruce, I don't know that you've met her yet. She's one of the student assistants. We had her on and we were talking about Twilight. She was like, yeah, Twilight came out around the time I was in like elementary school. And I was like, no, do not say that. Do not lie to me. So, I don't know. Could have been 10 years ago. Could have been 20. Who knows? To me.
Yeah, all I know is my music is being played in oldie stations now.
Whenever I hear songs that I listened to in high school in the
That's all I
grocery
need to
store,
know.
I'm like, we made it.
We made it.
We
Yeah.
survived.
We survived.
To be fair,
like a frowny
considering how
face.
depressing a lot of that music was, that's kind of impressive we
Yeah.
survived.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that got dark.
It's true, though.
We've had our dark moments on the show, don't worry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. Edwin has got our last question.
All right, so now what do you love about Alpine?
I love that it doesn't feel real. Like,
WandaVision? Let's go.
it's like I catch myself at least a couple of times a week just driving or walking around and it's like, I can't believe I live here.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
That
it's
makes
just
sense.
absolutely stunning. And like, I walk outside of my yard and my dog is having like a club meeting with a herd of deer. Like, where does this happen? Alpine.
Yeah.
Like,
It is kind of a fairy tale fantasy place. Like, so many times we'll just, like, look at the mountains be like, we live here.
yeah.
The high today being 84, it's almost July. We live here. Like,
Last week it was 103. We live here.
yeah. I don't want to talk about that. That was ugly. That hurt my feelings. And you know it's true. I could not shut up about how hot it was.
It's pretty bad.
I just know that like my cardigan has been so lonely in my office.
Yes.
It's just sitting there like, I'm in a library, but I never get used. It's like, you're in a library in Texas. You're never going to get used.
Yeah, that's true. No, you'll use it
Yeah, no, don't worry.
in the fall for sure.
Its time will come.
Because in the spring, I had to put on layers in my office. It would be pretty cold. It was nice. I put on a sweater last night when I got home because it was pretty chilly yesterday with the rain and stuff. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than desert rain, honestly.
Yes.
Like, it's my favorite smell.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what plant it is that releases that smell in the desert that, like, when it rains, it's just everything. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
But I just realized I never actually answered what I love about Sul Ross, but in my
You said
experience...
the campus it was beautiful.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The construction
Anything
is
else to
nice.
add? We love the construction. the signs of progress here are beautiful.
It's the people. Like, I'm used to going to campuses and you just, like, speed walk to the next place you need to go
Yeah.
to.
Oh, yeah.
And here it's like, you stroll around campus and wave and say hi to everybody and meet everybody.
Yes.
Like, I just act like, I remember during my second interview for the position that I'm in, I accidentally met Pete.
Wow.
Like, while walking from one meeting to the next meeting.
Cool.
He was just walking around campus. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm now unexpectedly meeting the president of this university.
Yeah.
Was not prepared for that.
That would
You know,
happen, and that
you're-
was never my experience at
You're
any other
never
college.
you're never prepared with how you're going to meet someone in Alpine from the university.
Yeah.
It's always in. You're like, oh, really? Like that's
Yeah.
where I met them. Okay.
I think most of like the faculty and staff that I've met overall have been at Harry's.
Love that.
That's just where I happened to meet them for the first time.
Perfect.
On one of the first nerd nights I ever went to, that's where I met one of my professors.
Nice.
And like sharing a beer with the guy, and then I realized, isn't this guy one of my professors?
I love that.
Oh yeah, that overlap is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, if one of my favorite things was like going pretty much anywhere. It's like, oh, that's my student, that's my student, that's my student. And then like when Thornton got our tires blew out and he got stranded in the middle of the desert. One of his students ended up being the tow truck driver.
I
So I was
love
like,
that.
I really hope you passed him. 'cause
Yes. Can you imagine he goes back and slices the tires?
I know.
It's like,
He
I see only
untows
one
the
is
truck.
damaged. That's not okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
He
He's
untows
awesome.
the truck, just takes it all the way back.
So good. Yeah, that's true. In my undergrad experience, I went to A&M Commerce. I met the president maybe twice, and both times, one was at like a band banquet event that was at his home, and it was like you met him, but he was like.
In his official capacity, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really count. Yeah.
And then the other time was like at some other formal event on campus. So, you know, you'd like 2 seconds, like, hi, but like here you see the administrative people all the time.
Yeah.
Like they're not hidden away. They're just hanging out. I literally walk by the president's residence every morning, say hi to the dogs.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
I
cool.
miss the big ones that were just visiting.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Those were so cute.
They were
The
dogs.
ones that are still there are also
very
but,
cute.
like,
Yes. All right. Well, any questions for us?
Actually, yes.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
she said, yeah, I got it.
She pulls out a big list. Ooh.
I controlled
Overtime.
myself. It's just one.
Okay.
But I want to know what the moment was when you guys either realized or at least thought, I don't want to dictate your life, but realized you wanted to be in a library or like be a librarian, work in a library.
I'll let you start because
Oh.
your story's probably simpler than mine.
Definitely. Like, no
It's
joke.
like work study assigned me. Like that's
I got on campus, and the first thing I asked myself was, which job on campus can cause me the least amount of stress
Stress.
while I do my classes? And I was like, it's gotta be the library. And then I found the position, and I was like, let's go. I applied for it. Cindy hired me, and it ended up being one of like the best places
Nice.
I worked at, like ever since I've been here at Sul Ross. And I'm like, all right, I think I made a very good, chill choice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was what I was looking forward to. It doesn't mean that it doesn't come with its own set of workload and whatnot.
Right.
But, like, that was definitely my mind as a student. Like, I was like,
Our student workers have the best job on campus,
Yeah.
period. Yeah. Because they get to
So-
work with us.
yeah, definitely. No, definitely. The librarians always made working at the library like a super highlight.
Sweet.
Because every single librarian brought their own personality to the library, and I used to joke around with like the old librarian crew that they seemed like a sitcom
Yeah.
because they each dressed differently, they had different personalities and everything, and they were in the same building about it. And like just how much they interacted, I was like, dude, I could see a library sitcom about this. Like, this would be amazing.
Yeah.
And it became a running joke with April and Kayla, to where they consider like every year a new season in the library sitcom.
Well, I've always wanted like a spin-off of Parks and Rec
With the
taking
library?
place at the
Yes.
library with Tammy.
That'd be amazing. But yeah, no, like Jocelyn said, very simple answer. I was just looking for something where I could focus on it as well as my schoolwork and not feel like I'm neglecting one or the other.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
For me, there wasn't really a specific moment. I knew I wanted to work in education for a long time. When when I took a career aptitude test when I was in school, it was like, I think it was like part of the pre-ACT career aptitude. Did y'all do that in school?
No.
Did you do that in school? Do you remember something like it?
And yeah, I remember prep courses and stuff.
Where you took the ACT and then there was like a career interest inventory or something like that. And, you know, there's like these clouds of like those word cloud kind of things. But then it was like education was huge on mine and like in purple. And I was like,
Oh, those.
okay.
What?
I was like, all right, I guess I'll do it. Okay. And I love teaching. I love instilling knowledge in other people. I love working with other people. I'm very social, but I like learning from other people. I don't know. So I initially started school to be a music teacher. Then music became really unfun when it was like my job, and I was like having to practice like 6 hours out of the day and taking like 17 hours of classes, but like so many of the classes would have like 3-hour meetings once a week, but only counted for 1 credit hour. It was just too much. So I switched to studying English, and then I realized, when people study English, they either teach or they become librarians, like afterwards. And I was like, maybe I can do both. And I thought, maybe I'll be a school librarian. And then I found out being a school librarian, you have to like teach for 2 years and then have like another specialty certificate and stuff. And I don't know, I taught for 3 years. And I just wanted to be in a library really bad. So I worked at a public library, and this is actually only my 2nd year working in libraries, not school related. So
Nice.
not really a moment, but a lot of little things led me here.
Just building.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a great question. I don't think I've ever really thought about my journey here. Been a lot of side steps.
Definitely.
A lot of side quests.
A lot of side quests for sure.
Those are the best ones sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool.
Awesome.
I think we're ready to wrap it up. We
Yeah.
have a little sign off. We say thanks for watching and check out next week's episode. Like library, check it
Yeah.
out. So we can all say that together.
Sure.
So on the count of 3, we'll say thanks for watching. Check out next week's episode.
Okay.
Okay.
You got it? Do you got it?
Yeah, I
Do
got
I
it.
got
I
it?
will forget. but
We will
sure.
definitely.
We'll try. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
3.
Thanks for watching and check out next
next
week's
week's episode.
episode. Whoop whoop.
Nice.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.